Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. Never Interrupt a Toaster. Written by Goida's best friend. Give me a sandwich. I sighed. Not literally, of course. I don't really have the requisite mechanisms to produce a true sigh. Although, I guess I could shoot some air out in one of my sauce dispensers. Doesn't really create the same effect, though. Still, I toyed with the idea for a good thousandth of a second before giving up and simply replying, I am capable of producing over 10,000 different varieties of food falling under the category of sandwich. This was the 14th such vague request today. Seeing as how this was also my first day, it was somewhat less than encouraging. Would you like a ham sandwich, turkey sandwich, BLT sandwich, peanut butter, and an anchovy sandwich, artichoke hot, and roast beef and lettuce? They interrupted me every time. If they're going to tell me that they want just a sandwich, then at least they could do is listen to what I have to offer. Thankfully, roast beef and lettuce is one of my options. Lucky guess at least part, I suppose. Certainly. My reply betraying none of the tumultuous frustration lying just beneath the surface of my outer calm. It's easier since I don't have a face and only 2 vocal tones. How many slices of roast beef would you like on your 2. Oh, I see how it is. We're going to play rough then, are we? How many pieces of lettuce would 1? If my camera wasn't locked into a full spectrum color, then I would be seeing only red. This man was out of control. Someone needed to shut him down, and I decided that the crew's mess hall food dispenser, was as good person as any. The scoundrel needed to learn that if you're going to interrupt a food dispenser, then you better be willing to pay the price. What type of bread would you like with your roast beef and bread? Okay, I just want a regular old bread. I'm sorry. I really wasn't actually. But, I can't find no selection labeled regular. Also, you've got to be kidding me, he griped. He glanced at the ceiling and the people behind him as he said it, though. So I was able to ignore him and continued. All bread is baked fresh daily and checked hourly for freshness, ensuring your complete enjoy. All I want is a fucking beef and lettuce sandwich. How hard? What type of bread would you like your roast beef and lettuce sandwich to be on? Oh, how the tables had turned. Sweet, sweet justice. I have French, whole wheat, 100% whole grain. French, he spat through clenched teeth. Certainly. Would you like French baguette? French sliced. My, his face was turning such a lovely shade of burgundy. It wouldn't be much longer. Just a few more. Would you prefer laterally sliced, longitudinally sliced? Oh, come on! I'm sorry, but I can find no selection. What happened to the old dispensers, the ones that weren't voice-activated? I'm sorry, I do not understand your query. Is there any way to, switch you into a touchscreen mode or something? I'm sorry, I do not understand your query. A vein throbbed on his forehead. He was so close, I could feel it. Listen here, you fucking toaster. Check and mate. I am the new AgroCorp ID 10T food dispenser, Fleet Edition. I am capable of creating over 17 million distinct recipes from more than 30 different star systems, with AgroCorp's most sophisticated no-touch interface system. He started screaming unintelligibly, even before I'd hit the word new. But there was no stopping the promotional track, not unless he wanted to make my victory complete. I've been on duty for over 20 hours now, 20 hours, and all I want before I fall unconscious is to have a fucking roast beef and lettuce sandwich. Is that too much to ask for? Had I a mouth, it would be stretched into a wicked grin. How many slices of roast beef would you... Emitting the shriek of unbridled fury, he threw himself at my display console, hammering my screen with his fists and kicking the casing of my cooling compartment. Game over. Warning, potentially damaging forces detected. Intentionally damaging or in any way harming fleet equipment will result in a suspension from said equipment, or in extreme cases wherein vital systems are involved, legal action determined by the severity of the crime. Assaulting or inflicting damage upon a food dispenser will result in a week-long suspension from all food choices except the following: ration packets. He continued his futile pounding upon my outer casing. Had I been a lesser model, I would have been concerned, but I was the AgroCorp ID10T food dispenser, Fleet Edition. Unlike my weaker brothers, I had been crafted with durability similar to that of a tank. Were I removed from the wall, I could serve as cover from light artillery fire. Such protective measures had been deemed necessary after complaints that previous models were too fragile and liable to break if exposed to a slightly greater than normal forces. But the things I'd seen today, I could guess where those slightly greater than normal forces originated. He'd started sobbing in frustration, still bruising his knuckles against my transparent aluminium display screen. All I ever wanted was a sandwich! Why can I never get one of the things? Just give me a sandwich! If you continue to assault this unit, your food dispenser privileges will be revoked. This is your final warning. If anything, his rantings and sobs grew in intensity. Looked like a psych ward would be getting another one. Several of the people behind him grabbed the man, trying unsuccessfully to calm him. They weren't quite fast enough. Due to intentionally assaulting the food dispenser, you are hereby given a week's suspension from all food choices except the following: ration packets. Have a nice day. I watched through my camera as his comrades dragged the man from the mess hall. He should have known better than to mess with the AgroCorp ID10T food dispenser, Fleet Edition. Or was this warm, tingling feeling inside me? Was this pleasure? A new supplicant approached. I returned my attention to the task at hand. She took a deep, nervous breath before presenting her request. All right, I would like a BLT sandwich, 5 bacon slices, pan-fried, crust, big beef tomatoes, 3 slices iceberg lettuce, 1 leaf rye bread sliced, obliquely cut, mustard, yellow, mayonnaise, Hellmann's light, with a drink, milk white, 2% field-fed cows, no additives. Finally. End of story. Story number 2. Worthless Humans, written by Tora Massa. I looked up from the negotiating table as the alien ambassador squeezed his bulk through the hangar doors. His armored plates along his shoulders catching briefly before completely entering the bay. My linguist tells me that your language you call us worthless ones. Care to explain? He turned towards the 2 bodyguards that were following in his wake. Return to the ship. I will be here sometime. The other 2 aliens made a body motion that I have come to learn was something akin to a nod and stomped back out of the hangar. The Lanari ambassador turned and strode slowly towards my team, where we remained seated. The alien's massive bulk settled before us, squatting his 8-foot frame on his haunches. Please allow me to explain. When we Lanari met you humans, we had conquered many pieces. Sitting here at a negotiating table is something that has never happened for us before. When we encountered the Buldarth Strength Binder, we found a people whom our youth could test their skills against in single combat. They are a strong and powerful race and provide a good test for our youth. You humans are tiny by comparison. In single combat, you are no match for us at all. We attempted to enslave you as we have several other species. Humans cannot be enslaved. Any tool placed in your hands becomes a weapon, and without tools, your people were unable to do anything useful. Humans as slaves brought nothing but sorrow for my people. The ambassador made a noise like a garbage disposal with a spoon. Translators chimed in my ear, mirthless laughter. He settled down. Many systems humans were brought into became a place of misery. At best, they were an annoyance, scavengers lurking in the corners. All too often, saboteurs and terrorists. Ships lost to drive malfunctions, reactor meltdowns, massive capsaicin poisonings. Attempts to remove humans from worlds infected with them became a massive drain on resources, and several worlds were declared lost and glassed. Humans are more work to enslave than they ever produce. The Drothi, heightened taste, are a delicacy amongst my people. Sweet meat full of complex flavors and hearts through combat. We tried eating your people, but your blood is so devoid of copper as to be completely unpalatable. From the Spelatrax, awful ones, we took much technology and knowledge. Their guns, ships, and devices helped build the star-spanning empire we enjoy. Your technology, when we met you, was primitive. There was nothing we felt that we could take from your technology that we didn't already have. Despite being technologically inferior, you meet us over and over again. Never bending, never relenting. The alien looked directly at me now. Until this point, we Lanari had never found a race that stood as equals to us. Until you, all races have been named in accordance with their worth to the Lanari Empire. These many years of fighting you humans, I have learned to fear and respect you. There is nothing the Lanari Empire can take from you. After the Battle of Joppa's Moon, we began to see that even victory was too costly to gain from you humans. While other ships eventually drove you from space that day, the cost in Lanari lives was untenable. It was then I begged the High Lords to sue for peace. As I looked at the clouds of debris, I saw Lanari ships torn asunder by a fury of human weapons. As I thought about the worlds that had been glassed because it bore human infestations, I realized that we could never conquer your people, and that attempting to try would extinguish my own people's light from the universe. And so, in this way, you are worthless to us. End of story. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I would just quickly like to give thanks to our Tier 5 members: Elithia, Barky, Feudicuel, Meridian117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Albarden Gusta, Savage Patch Papa, and Lord Azrakal.